appreciate about Mrs. Lewis is that she's really easy to talk to and she helps me with my homework.
Miss Lewis is, you always see her walking around, talking to students and helping them out whenever you need it. And she's just an easy person to talk to, always helps out, and that's why I think she's a good teacher.
I've met here at ORRVILLE High School and she cares about us and cares to help me get my grades up.
Okay, so what I appreciate about Mrs. Regan is that she's always nice to us and lets us stay in the library and hang out and do our schoolwork. She also brings in some nice snacks sometimes.
She's nice and she is helpful.
She's really positive and always has a smile on her face, and we like it when she covers different classes like study hall and stuff.
I like Miss Hall because she makes her class fun. Her class is actually interesting. She has a very flexible schedule, and her LEDs are pretty sweet too.
I like Miss Hall because of her LED lights, and she thinks JFK is super hot, and her class is just very easy and chill.
I like Miss Hall because she makes her class fun. She doesn't have any homework. And even though I'm her favorite student, she still kicks me out of her class.
I appreciate his dedication to teaching and all the fun stuff we did in this class, like the poetry slam.
My favorite thing about Mr. Yerg is that he always keeps the classroom a fun learning environment.
Something I appreciate about Mr. Yerg is how his class is always enjoyable and how he keeps it up with the trends.
I appreciate Mrs. Rice because I had her my freshman year and she pushed me to become a better student and to be the person I am today. She was always there for me when I needed it the most.
I love Mrs. Rice because she teaches me history. She's very fun to talk to and her outfits are cute and gorgeous.
I appreciate Mrs. Rice because she well prepared me for the air test and she always talked to me and made me feel welcomed.
She's an awesome teacher, she teaches us what we need to know. She's a good person and she really cares about us.
I really like Miss Sammons because she gives us time on our work and she helps with all our work all the time.
I like Miss Sammons because I think she's a very nice teacher and she teaches us a lot about finances and she's just really nice. I love her class.
So one thing I appreciate about Mr. Grimes is that he's always willing to help out somebody, no matter if they're really far ahead into the lesson or not that far ahead into the lesson.
I appreciate Mr. Grimes because he's a very good teacher and he's always very into his lectures. He doesn't give that much homework, and when he does, he always helps you get the answers and stuff, and he's just a good teacher overall.
Grimes is a good teacher. He helps you with lessons. If you're having trouble in his class, he helps you out, and you always do cool labs and cool experiments in his class, and I just like him for what he does for his students.
I like the way that Doc V teaches and how he makes something seemingly boring really, really fun, at least to me.
Thank you for running the STEM club after school.
What I like about Doc V is he has a passion for teaching and he's a good runner.
I like Mr. Duxbury because he cheers me up in class and he always talks to me when I come in.
The reason I appreciate Mr. Duxbury is because he has a deep compassion for the environment, and I think that makes him a very good science teacher.
I appreciate Mr. Duxbury because he sparks my interest in science and oceanography.
I appreciate Mr. Zuercher because he teaches math well, teaches you the easiest way, and explains it very thoroughly and in the fastest way possible.
I appreciate that Mr. Zuercher always helps us out and makes sure we understand what we're doing before we move on to the next topic.
Okay, so what I really appreciate about Zuercher as a teacher is whenever I was struggling with math, he would always take time out of his day and come over and help me during study hall so I could understand the material properly. So thank you for that.
A few of the reasons I appreciate Mr. Scheufler is because some math teachers, math is boring with them. Mr. Scheufler, never a dull moment. His class is always fun, and I enjoy learning math in his class.
Okay, one thing that I really love about Scheufler is he's always willing to help kids know when they have trouble.
One thing I like about Scheufler is that he tries to stay positive and encouraging throughout the good and the bad days of the school day.
I like Coach Pruett because she helps me understand my math homework, and she made my first year of ORRVILLE High School volleyball awesome.
I like Coach Pruett because she helps me every day in math lab, and I can talk to her if I need to, and she made volleyball season so fun.
I like Mrs. Pruett because she's a good teacher. She always helps me with my math homework, and she's always willing to make changes.
I like Mrs. Schelcher because she's kind, she's great at teaching, she's easy to talk to, she makes school really fun, and she's just a nice person overall.
What I appreciate about Mrs. Schelcher is I was not a good 8th grader, but she was still like super nice, like every time.
Mrs. Schelcher gave me really good ways on how to study for Spanish and for any other class I had. She also played songs for us to help us learn the materials better.
I appreciate Señor Porras because he's very patient with all the students learning a new language, and he's very uplifting and kind to everyone when he kicks the soccer ball in hallways.
I appreciate Mr. Porras because he makes learning fun.
I appreciate Señor Porras for teaching me about the Spanish culture and making Spanish easy to learn.
Me gusta la maestra Dos Santos porque ella te ayuda a hablar bien en inglés, te ayuda a las personas que no hablan el inglés, te ayuda para que aprendas y te ayuda también en tus trabajos y es una buena maestra.
La maestra Dos Santos es una buena maestra porque nos ayuda a aprender inglés y cuando le pedimos consejos o ayuda ella está siempre para apoyarnos y ella es una gran maestra.
La maestra Dos Santos es muy buena porque a pesar de que nos ayuda con el inglés, es muy paciente con nosotros y cuando necesitamos ayuda con una tarea, ella nos ayuda y entonces por eso la apreciamos mucho.
So Landis is a very open person about her life, and she also is so passionate about a subject. You just see it whenever she talks about it. I just really enjoy, especially when we do poetry in that class, because she's so much more enthusiastic about it. So overall, I think she would be a good teacher to go to, especially if you have something in your life that's bothering you.
What I like about Mrs. Landers is that she gives us a lot of free time whenever we don't have anything to do. She lets us talk and stuff, and it's not just like pure silence. She also explains what she wants us to do very thoroughly.
I appreciate Mrs. Landers because she tries to make classes as interesting as possible. She's actively trying to engage us in class. She's also very relaxed and gives us plenty of free time as long as we need it.
I appreciate Mrs. Duxbury for the help she offers when I'm struggling in comp class.
I appreciate Mrs. Duxbury for improving my writing skills to help me in college and in my future.
I appreciate Mrs. Duxbury because she was there for me as a student and she encouraged me to grow as a writer.
I appreciate Mrs. Berry because she has a very energetic personality. She encourages everyone to learn and she makes sure everyone is prepared for testing.
Mrs. Berry is one of the kindest and chillest teachers I've ever met. She's able to help anyone out with any problem in English arts.
Miss Berry always has this energy about her. She's always happy, ready to do something. She's also just super chill.
What do I like about Coach Mo? First of all, Coach Mo is very organized in everything he does. He often lays out everything so you know exactly what you need to do and how he wants it to be done. He's a very good leader and he's a very good motivator too, and he's a good teacher.
What I like about Coach Mo is that his classes are always like well thought out and like he has the material posted so you can always reference it when he's talking to you. I also like the fact that he engages with you whenever you're doing whatever he's trying to show you what to do.
The best thing about Mr. Mosley is that he's very straightforward with his teaching. He's always willing to help you, and he's also a really funny guy to talk to. So if you just want a good laugh, he's always a good person to go to.
I appreciate Coach Ayers because he motivates me to do my best in everything, from the sports to the classroom.
I appreciate Mr. Ayers because he keeps things entertaining and keeps us interactive throughout gym class instead of just, using already made games and activities.
I like how Mr. Ayers can give his athletes and students very good constructive criticism, and he helps us grow.
Mr. Brunker teaches a lot of cool classes. I'm in 3D modeling and photo editing. He teaches graphic design and stuff like that. I think those classes are really cool. They're some of my favorites. He's a really nice guy. He's fun to talk to. And he puts up with all the stuff that the freshmen put him through, so that's definitely a bonus.
I appreciate Mr. Brunker because he gives us fair deadlines on our assignments, and as long as you complete your work, you have an ample amount of free time. I also really enjoy the material that he teaches us in his classes.
Mr. Brunker, I really appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm looking forward to proceeding with a career in graphic design because of you, Mr. Brunker. With everything you've taught me in your class to be a really, really great photographic design student, and well, a lot of things that I can do in a Photoshop is just really great. Like this one is for you, my man.
I really love how hands-on and informative her class is.
I appreciate Ms. Besancon because she makes really good food and she teaches us how to make the good food.
I appreciate Mrs. Besancon because she gives really good directions to make sure we always know what to do on the assignment.
I appreciate having Mr. Peters as a teacher. He's comical, he's skillful, and he's a very crafty person. I enjoy having his class. It's really not that difficult. He's helped many of the students in the engineering technologies place make some of these beautiful works of art.
I appreciate Mr. Peters because he's very lenient with deadlines and stuff. He makes sure we understand the material. He likes to walk us through everything to make sure we understand it.
Mr. Peters is a really nice teacher. He does a good job for his students. He's really nice. His work is fairly simple. He's a good teacher. If you stay on the good side, you'll have a good grade, you'll pass, all's good.
I appreciate Mr. Ramseyer because he gives me good critiques on my artwork and he gives me creative freedom when choosing art projects.
He's a good teacher. Since I like art very much and everything, he expands and explores my mindset, so it's fun being in this class.
I appreciate Mr. Ramseyer because he gives me extra time to finish my projects and he always gives really good advice.
My favorite thing about Mrs. Class is that she's always so positive. Like, when we're going through class, she always has something positive to say, and her, just being there, by the door in the morning saying good morning is great. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Mrs. Class is how she's always optimistic about everything, and then, she always encourages mistakes, because you can't succeed without mistakes.
What I like about Mrs. Class is kind of the way she teaches. She's really good at introducing us to new things and is really understanding, and is really nice to people even if they mess up. Always has good things to say, but is also really good at giving criticism.
One of the things that I would say I admire about Mrs. Cummings is that she pushes us to be precise in our music and really be better as a musician.
The thing I like about Mrs. Cummings the most is that she pushes us as musicians, as people, to do harder music and just to make us better musicians and better people so that we can be a better collective whole as a band.
So my favorite thing about Mrs. Cummings is honestly probably her patience, because dealing with 29 students in one classroom, all with an instrument in their hand and playing it, that can be a bit rough. Just the amount of patience that she has, that's awesome. And she's always on top of things, even though.
I appreciate you, Mrs. Caldwell, because you are very helpful in the classroom and you help everyone with their English. I like Miss Caldwell because she's very personal and she helps with our personal lives, and she's really good at doing homework with us.
I like Mrs. Caldwell, especially in her class, considering she makes sure we're always on task and makes sure we always have all our work updated and have good grades.
I like Mrs. Neal because she listens to my rants.
I appreciate Ms. Neal because she's always there for us when we need it, and she helps us a lot with our homework.
I appreciate Mrs. Neal because not only does she encourage my day, but she makes my day feel better, and she encourages other students. And she lets me come to her class during homeroom. Thanks, Mrs. Neal.
My favorite thing about Mrs. Coleman is that she's always there for anyone who needs her, and she's just a really fun person to be around, and she makes everything that she does pretty fun.
Well, I think Miss Coleman is pretty cool because everything she does with us is pretty fun. If we ever need any help with anything, then she's there.
Mrs. Coleman was the junior class advisor, and she also helped with like prom, as you all probably know. So I just want to say we really appreciate that. You made prom super fun and enjoyable this year, especially for the seniors.
What I really appreciate about Mr. Indermuhle, he's really nice, he's cool to be around, and he's helpful.
What I like about Mr. Indermuhle is how he helps, but you don't have to ask him to help.
I appreciate Mr. I because he is helpful during tests and checks up on us whenever he can and makes sure that we're doing our work.
I appreciate that Mr. Edwards helps me with all my homework.
I like Mr. Edwards because he was a very supportive coach.
I appreciate Mr. Edwards for helping me with all the things I've been through, including homework.
My favorite thing about Miss Wells is that during class you can always ask her questions. She's never hesitant to answer. And one time she brought in pizza for the class right before Christmas break, and we had a Christmas party. It was pretty fun at the halls.
She's very nice, and I like it when she helps with my work, and always very fun.
Besancon really inspires me to be confident in my own height because of how short he is.
Besancon, being able to work with you on the Camp Food Drive video was a lot of fun, and you made it like stress-free. So I really appreciate that.
Besancon, we really appreciate your creative ideas throughout the semester. Video production has been like super fun. Learning how to use the software, making cool videos. And maybe I'll miss it after I'm done.